What if there was an ancient technique so precise that reality itself was forced to obey? This audiobook reveals the sacred technique, a precise universal power that transforms life through certainty. You have already unconsciously touched it. Now, you will master it. In the depths of ancient wisdom lies a truth so powerful and transformative that those who glimpse it find their lives forever changed. You have traveled far, seeking answers in countless places, but the greatest power has always resided within you, waiting to be awakened. The universe operates through precise laws, as exact as mathematics and as reliable as the dawn. These laws respond not to effort or struggle, but to something much more fundamental: your command. Just as a master musician doesn't beg his instrument to create music, but rather plays it with certainty and skill, you too must learn to orchestrate the forces of creation. The sacred technique you are about to discover transcends positive thinking or visualization. It is the fundamental power that has shaped civilizations, built empires, and transformed ordinary individuals into beings of extraordinary influence. This knowledge has been guarded, passed down through generations, appearing in fragments in history's greatest teachings. What distinguishes this technique is its absolute precision. It leaves no room for doubt or uncertainty. When used correctly, it works with the reliability of a natural law, like gravity. It simply is. The universe doesn't choose whether to respond. It must, because this is the very mechanism by which reality operates. You've likely felt this truth, perceived its whispers in moments of perfect alignment, when everything fell into place effortlessly. These weren't coincidences, but glimpses of your natural state of power. The sacred technique simply makes this state accessible at will. As you progress through these chapters, you will recognize an inner awakening, an ancient memory. This is not new knowledge you are acquiring, but the unveiling of what your soul has always known. The time has come to step into your true power, to speak the language of the universe itself. Part 1. Awakening to the hidden forces of creation. Chapter 1. The ancient power they never told you about. Throughout the centuries, whispers of extraordinary power have echoed through the halls of temples and the chambers of secret societies. You have been taught that reality is unyielding, that your dreams must conform to what others call possible. Yet, in my decades of studying ancient texts and working with those who have mastered the sacred technique, I have witnessed how the impossible becomes inevitable. Let me share with you the story of Walter, a humble shopkeeper who stumbled upon this power in a moment of pure certainty. His small business was facing imminent closure, with mounting debts and dwindling customers. One night, standing in his empty shop, Walter experienced something extraordinary. Instead of his usual worry and fear, he felt an inexplicable change within himself. In that moment, he saw his shop thriving with absolute clarity, not as a wish or a hope, but as an irrefutable fact. What happened next defied conventional explanation. Within days, a series of coincidences transformed his circumstances. A social media influencer visited his store and shared it with millions. A construction project redirected traffic directly in front of his premises. Even his competitors closed unexpectedly, sending their loyal customers his way. Walter had unconsciously activated the sacred technique, the ability to command reality through absolute certainty. He didn't plead with the universe, he simply knew, and reality reshaped itself to match his knowing. You may wonder why such knowledge remains hidden. The answer lies in the very nature of power. Those who discovered this truth throughout history often kept it secret, understanding that the world wasn't ready for such a responsibility. Modern society has constructed elaborate belief systems designed to keep you dependent, doubtful, and disconnected from your true power. But now, through a simple practice, you can begin to recognize how you've already been unconsciously wielding this power. Take a moment now to recall 3 instances in your life when something you knew with absolute certainty would happen actually happened. You didn't expect it. You knew it with unshakable certainty. Write these moments down. Notice the distinct feeling that accompanied that knowing. This feeling is your first key to the sacred technique. This exercise will reveal patterns you've never noticed before, showing you that you've been speaking the language of creation all along, albeit in whispers. Like ancient symbols emerging from beneath layers of dust, these patterns will illuminate the deep connection between your thoughts and the reality they shape. Each instance you recall will strengthen your recognition of this divine language flowing through you. Soon, you will learn to speak it with the full force of your being, transforming those whispers into declarations that resonate in the chambers of the universe. Chapter 2. The universal law that overrides all others. Throughout history, you've been taught that desire is the key to manifestation. The law of attraction became a beacon of hope, promising that your desires would materialize if you only believed hard enough. However, something vital was missing from this teaching, a truth so fundamental that its absence has kept countless souls trapped in the cycle of hoping and wishing. The law of certainty transcends mere attraction. It operates on a higher frequency, where possibility transforms into inevitability. Margaret's story exemplifies this profound distinction. As a talented artist, she spent years visualizing success, creating vision boards, and repeating affirmations. Yet true breakthrough remained elusive until one transformative morning. Standing in front of her canvas, Margaret experienced what the old masters call the shift. In that moment, she stopped seeing her success as something she had to attract and began experiencing it as something that already existed. Her art exhibitions weren't a hope. They were as real to her as the paintbrush in her hand. The universe responded not to her wishes, but to her knowing. Within weeks, a renowned gallery owner discovered her work. But what makes this story significant is that Margaret wasn't surprised when the gallery called, when collectors began acquiring her pieces, or when international exhibitions followed. She greeted it all with the calmness of someone collecting a debt she knew would be repaid. This illustrates the crucial difference between belief and certainty. Belief says, "I believe this will happen." Certainty declares, "This is it." Belief keeps you in a state of seeking, while certainty puts you in a state of possessing. The universe doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to who you are. Those who seem fortunate have unconsciously aligned themselves with this law. They don't expect results. They assume them as naturally as you assume the sun will rise. Their certainty creates a resonance that reality must match, like a tuning fork that vibrates the strings close to its frequency. Now you will perform the mental shift exercise. Close your eyes and select one desire from your life. Instead of visualizing it as something to be achieved, experience it as a current reality. Don't imagine it happening. Know that it is already done. Feel the distinction between "I want this" and "this is it." Hold this state for several minutes, observing how your body responds to this shift from seeking to possessing. Practice this daily, gradually extending the duration of your certainty. The goal is not to convince yourself, but to align yourself with what already is. Chapter 3. Why your desires have been blocked until now. In the heart of a bustling city lived Eugene, a merchant whose shop remained perpetually empty despite his tireless efforts to attract customers. Every morning, he stood in the doorway, watching the crowds pass by like a river avoiding a rock. He practiced visualization, repeated affirmations, and maintained unwavering faith, but success remained elusive. What Eugene didn't understand was that his conscious efforts were being undermined by a force more powerful than desire: inherited thought patterns. These patterns, passed down through generations, act as invisible barriers between you and your natural state of abundance. The universe doesn't respond to what you say you want, but to the energy you emanate. When your conscious mind declares, "I am successful," but your energy field vibrates with doubt, the universe can only reflect that contradiction. That's why mere positive thinking often fails to produce results. Eugene's breakthrough came when he discovered an ancient manuscript that spoke of the Great Liberation. The text revealed that manifestation isn't about adding more positive thoughts, but rather about removing the obstacles that block your natural state of abundance. Just as a stream doesn't need to be taught to flow, it simply needs the rocks removed from its path. Your true state is one of unlimited potential, but layers of limiting beliefs, past disappointments, and social programming have created what the ancients called the veil of separation. This veil makes you appear disconnected from your desires, when in reality, you are one with them. The key isn't to push yourself harder, but to release the resistance. Eugene discovered this when he stopped forcing positive thoughts and instead allowed himself to feel the weight of his inherited limitations. By acknowledging these patterns without judgment, they began to dissolve naturally, like mist in the morning sun. Now you will perform the emotional release exercise. Sit quietly and bring to mind a desire that has eluded you. Instead of pushing for positive feelings, allow yourself to notice any resistance that arises. Where do you feel it in your body? What thoughts accompany it? Don't try to change these sensations. Simply observe them with gentle attention. As you maintain this state of observation, you may notice that resistance begins to soften on its own. Continue this practice until you feel a natural shift in your energy, a lightening of the invisible burden you've been carrying. This is the beginning of true alignment with your desires. This process isn't about forcing change, but rather allowing your natural state of abundance to emerge. As Eugene discovered, when you clear the path, the universe flows through you effortlessly, bringing with it everything you've been seeking. Chapter 4. The Forgotten Language of the Universe. In the mountains of Tibet, a merchant named Gerald sought wisdom at a temple known for its mystical teachings. For years, he had pleaded with the universe, bargained with fate, and prayed for success. His prayers were passionate, his visualizations detailed, but his wishes remained unfulfilled. You too have probably spoken to the universe this way, through the language of desire, need, and desperate hope. But the universe doesn't respond to despair. It responds only to certainty. The temple guardian shared with Gerald an ancient truth. The universe speaks in absolutes. When light travels, it doesn't wait to reach its destination. It simply arrives. When rain falls, it doesn't question its descent. It simply falls. This is the language of creation itself. The difference between those who manifest effortlessly and those who struggle lies not in their desires, but in their tone of communication. When you speak to the universe with doubt, hesitation, or anxiety, you create static in the cosmic frequency. Your message becomes distorted, unclear, and therefore impossible to fulfill. The universe recognizes only one frequency, the tone of "it is done," not "will be," not hope, not wish, but the unshakable knowledge that what you desire already exists. That's why masters throughout history have taught that the secret is not in asking, but in knowing. But upon command, Gerald learned that his years of pleading had driven his wishes even further away. Each desperate prayer reinforced the very lack he sought to overcome. However, when he shifted his focus and began speaking the language of wholeness, his entire reality transformed in a matter of days. You must understand that the universe is not a distant force to be persuaded. It is an extension of your own consciousness, waiting to be commanded with authority. When you speak to it, do so as if your wish has already been fulfilled, not with force or aggression, but with the calm certainty of natural law. Now you will learn to speak the native language of the universe through the practice of the cosmic command. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. close your eyes, and bring a desire to mind. Instead of thinking about wanting it, immerse yourself in the feeling of having already received it. Now, speak to the universe in the present tense, not with your voice, but with your entire being. Feel the truth of these statements in every cell. It is done. It is mine. It is manifested. Let each word carry the weight of absolute knowledge. Continue until you feel a shift in your energy, a subtle click of alignment. This is the universe recognizing its own language being spoken back. The key isn't in the words themselves, but in the unshakable certainty behind them. When you master this language, you'll discover that reality doesn't bend to your wishes, but to your commands. Chapter 5. How Masters Secretly Command Reality. Deep within an ancient library, Harold discovered a manuscript that would forever change his understanding of reality. As he turned its fragile pages, a pattern emerged, a common thread connecting history's most powerful figures. These individuals didn't just desire results, they emanated them. You see, reality doesn't respond to what you do, but to who you are. The great masters understood this fundamental truth. The universe reflects your internal state with perfect accuracy. When you exist in a state of absolute certainty, reality has no choice but to conform to that certainty. Think of how a magnet doesn't try to attract metal. It simply does so by its nature. In the same way, these masters didn't try to influence reality. Their mere presence altered it. Harold noticed this phenomenon in his own life when, after studying the manuscript, he began to embody rather than pursue his desires. The difference is subtle but profound. Most people live in a state of wanting, which only reinforces the absence of what they seek. But the masters lived in a state of being. They became living embodiments of their desires. When you transform your internal state, external circumstances naturally align with your new frequency. This is why some people seem to effortlessly attract success, while others struggle despite their efforts. The first group has mastered the art of being. The second remains trapped in the cycle of doing and wanting. The ancestral practice of the state. Sit in perfect stillness and close your eyes. Breathe deeply until your mind calms. Now, instead of thinking about what you want to achieve, feel like someone who has already achieved it. Don't visualize success. Become success itself. Let this state permeate every cell of your being. Notice how your posture naturally adjusts, how your breathing changes, how your energy transforms. Hold this state for several minutes, allowing it to become your new normal. This isn't pretending or acting. It's claiming your natural power to shape reality through your state of being. Practice this daily, and you'll notice that reality begins to bend around your new state of being, just as it did for the masters before you. The universe doesn't respond to what you want, but to what you are. Like a mirror reflecting your innermost truth, the world will change to match your transformed consciousness. Those who have walked this path over the centuries have discovered this profound truth. When you change your state of being, the very fabric of existence must realign to harmonize with your new vibration. This is no mere coincidence, but the operation of an immutable universal law that has existed since time immemorial. Chapter 6. The Sacred Change. In the heart of a bustling market, Dorothy stood in front of a merchandise stall, her eyes fixed on a jade pendant she desperately wanted but couldn't afford. For weeks, she had visited the same place, hoping the price would somehow change. But on this particular morning, something inside her shifted. Instead of yearning, he experienced a moment of pure knowing, an unshakable certainty that transcended all doubt. You too have experienced those rare moments when everything aligns, when resistance dissolves like morning mist before the sun. These aren't coincidences, but glimpses into your natural state of power. The universe doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you know. When Dorothy released her grip on wanting and entered into knowing, the merchant suddenly offered the pendant at exactly the price she could pay. This wasn't luck or coincidence. It was the universe responding to a shift in her energy, from request to command. The secret isn't in asking the universe, but in aligning yourself with it so completely that your desires become statements of fact. When you declare "I am" instead of "I want," you speak the language of creation itself. This is the difference between knocking on the door of possibility and walking through it as if it were already open. Most people remain trapped in the energy of seeking, which only reinforces the experience of lack. But you can learn to embody the energy of having, which forces the universe to match your inner certainty with external circumstances. The practice of sacred change. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and bring to mind something you desire. Now, instead of focusing on wanting it, shift your attention to the feeling of already having it. Let your body relax into this truth. Feel your shoulders relax, your breathing deepen, and your energy expand. Speak these words with all the strength of your being. I no longer ask this of the universe. I affirm that it is already mine. Feel the power of this declaration in every cell of your body. Notice how different this feels from waiting or wishing. Remain in this state for several minutes, allowing any doubts or resistance to dissolve naturally. Don't fight them. Simply return to knowing. This is not an exercise in imagination, but a realignment with your natural state of creative power. When you open your eyes, carry this energy of certainty with you every moment, every breath, every step. Let it permeate your entire being like a golden light filling an empty vessel. The universe cannot help but respond to someone who has mastered this shift, because you are no longer asking. You are commanding through your mere state of being. You have transcended the realm of desires and entered the realm of absolute knowledge, where manifestation flows as naturally as water down a river. In this state of divine alignment, you become a living channel for universal power. Chapter 7. Activating the Sacred Code Within You. In the mountains of Tibet, a humble monk named Franklin spent decades seeking enlightenment through meditation and prayer. However, his true transformation came not from his spiritual practices, but from a spontaneous revelation about the nature of energy itself. Within you exists a vibrational signature, as unique as your fingerprint. This signature is continuously transmitted into the universal field, attracting experiences that match its frequency. When Franklin discovered this truth, he understood why some of his deepest prayers went unanswered, while other desires manifested instantly. His inner frequency either aligned with or opposed his desires. The universe doesn't respond to your words or even your thoughts, but to the energy you emanate. As it attracts like with mathematical precision, when Franklin aligned his internal frequency with the vibration of abundance, opportunities appeared as naturally as flowers turning toward the sun. Your current circumstances reflect your dominant frequency. If you repeatedly find yourself in similar situations, whether positive or negative, this is the universe reflecting your energetic transmission. But this frequency can be consciously adjusted, like tuning a radio to receive a clear signal. The sacred code already exists within you. It is the frequency of your highest self, the vibration of pure potential. When you tune into this frequency, the universe recognizes you as a conscious co-creator, not a passive recipient of circumstances. The practice of vibrational tuning. Sit in perfect stillness and place your hands over your heart center. Close your eyes and breathe deeply, allowing your awareness to settle into the space between your heartbeats. This is where your sacred code resides. As you breathe, imagine a golden light flowing through your crown chakra, filling your entire being. This light carries the exact frequency of divine alignment. Let it cleanse you of any discordant energy that may have accumulated. Now, speak these words with calm authority. I align my frequency with the highest vibration of creation. My sacred code is now activated. Feel the resonance of these words in every cell of your body. Listen deeply to the subtle humming that begins to emerge from within. This is your unique vibrational signature, rising to its natural state of power. Stay with this sensation, allowing it to build naturally. When you feel fully attuned, bring a desire to mind. Notice how different it feels to hold this desire while vibrating at your highest frequency. There is no tension, no longing, just a calm knowing that you and your desire are already one. This attunement isn't something you do once and forget. It requires daily practice until it becomes your natural state of being. Each time you align with your sacred code, you strengthen your ability to manifest with greater ease and precision. The universe recognizes and responds to those who maintain this elevated frequency. Your desires will begin to manifest with greater speed and precision as you learn to sustain this divine alignment. This is the ancient art of energy mastery, available to all who understand its principles. Chapter 8. The Illusion of Effort. In the bustling streets of a market town, Josephine ran a small shop that seemed on the verge of failure. Each morning, she rose before dawn, meticulously planning every detail, working harder than anyone else on her street. Yet success remained elusive, growing further away with each desperate attempt to achieve it. You see, the universe operates under a principle that seems paradoxical to the modern mind. The harder you push, the more resistance you create. This truth has been whispered throughout the centuries, but few have understood its profound implications. When you struggle, you transmit a frequency of lack, telling the universe that what you seek is difficult to obtain. Josephine's transformation came one day when exhaustion finally forced her to give up. In that moment of surrender, something extraordinary happened. Customers began flowing into her shop effortlessly. Orders manifested without struggle, and opportunities arose spontaneously. By ceasing to struggle, he had unconsciously aligned himself with the natural flow of abundance. This principle extends far beyond commerce. In every aspect of life, your effort creates the very resistance you wish to overcome. The universe doesn't respond to your effort, but to your state of being. When you operate from certainty rather than struggle, reality reorganizes itself to match your conviction. Think of water. It doesn't struggle to reach the ocean. It simply flows according to natural law. Your desires desire to manifest with the same effortless certainty. The moment you stop pushing and start allowing, you enter the stream of divine timing. The sacred practice of liberation. Find a quiet space where you won't be interrupted. Close your eyes and bring to mind something you've been struggling to achieve. Feel the weight of that struggle in your body. Now imagine your entire being as a vessel of light. With each exhalation, release the energy of effort, of forcing, of making things happen. Breathe deeply and say, I release the need to fight. What is mine comes to me naturally, effortlessly, and perfectly. Feel how different this state of being is compared to your usual approach. Notice the spaciousness that opens when you stop pushing. Now visualize your desire as already fulfilled, not through effort, but by natural law, like a flower blooming in its season. Let this vision fill you with absolute knowing. You don't need to make it happen. You simply need to align yourself with its inevitable manifestation. Remain in this state of effortless certainty for as long as you feel appropriate. When you open your eyes, carry this energy of relaxed trust with you. Your only task is to maintain this state of being, allowing the universe to manage the how and when of manifestation. Chapter 9. The Sacred Technique. In the quiet mountains of an ancient land, Raymond lived a life of constant longing. Each morning, he gazed at the distant peaks, dreaming of the treasures they held, but never daring to venture toward them. You can recognize yourself in his hesitation. in that familiar dance between desire and doubt that keeps you tethered to the known rather than the possible. Yet within Raymond burned a question that would lead him to discover what you are about to learn. The master key that transforms reality itself. One moonlit night, as Raymond sat under the stars, the realization came with crystal clarity. He saw that he had been approaching manifestation backward all along. Instead of trying to believe in possibilities, he needed to start from the end, from absolute knowledge. At that moment, Raymond shifted into a state of pure certainty. Not hope, not faith, but knowledge. The kind of knowledge that makes you smile in the face of doubt because it seems absurd. The kind of knowledge that makes the impossible inevitable. The next morning, everything changed. Opportunities appeared as if they had been waiting for him all along. Doors opened effortlessly. The mountains that had once seemed so intimidating now called to him with a friendly invitation. Within days, he discovered passages unknown to others, leading him to treasures beyond imagination. You see, sacred technique isn't about asking the universe for what you want. It's about knowing with such completeness that asking becomes unnecessary. When you enter the state of pure knowing, you align yourself with the creative force that shapes reality itself. The practice of the master key. Sit in perfect stillness and bring your deepest desire to mind. Now, instead of reaching for it, immerse yourself in the feeling of already having it, not as an imagination, but as a fact. Feel how your body responds to this truth. Notice how your breathing changes, how your shoulders relax, how your energy transforms. In this state, speak these words with the authority of absolute knowledge. I am the source from which all manifestation flows. My knowledge creates reality. Let this truth settle into every cell of your being. Feel how different this is from hoping or believing. This is the state of pure knowing, the master key that opens all doors. The universe has no choice but to conform to your knowing, because this is the language of creation itself. This is how reality has always worked and how it always will. The only question is, will you dare to know with such completeness that doubt becomes impossible? The sacred technique is now yours. Use it with the reverence it deserves, for you hold in your hands the power to reshape reality itself. Chapter 10. A Test of Faith. Throughout the centuries, those who discovered this power faced a crucial moment of choice. It's the same moment you face now. The universe has brought you this knowledge not by chance, but because you are ready to wield it. Deep within a mountain monastery, Leonard discovered an ancient scroll revealing the sacred technique. His hands trembled as he realized what lay before him. The scroll spoke of a power so vast it could reshape reality itself, the same power you now hold in your consciousness. But Leonard hesitated. Like many before him, he wondered if he was worthy of such influence over the fabric of existence. You can feel this same hesitation within you now. Know that this doubt is not a sign of unworthiness. It is a test of your readiness. For 3 days and 3 nights, Leonard meditated on this power. On the 4th morning, he realized the universe does not grant power to those who are not worthy. By bringing you to this knowledge, it has already deemed you ready. The real question is not whether you are worthy, but whether you are willing to accept the responsibility that comes with such power. Every thought, every certainty you hold will now carry the force of creation itself. This sacred technique requires complete awareness of your intentions. When you speak to the universe with absolute knowledge, it responds instantly. There is no room for casual desires or idle thoughts. Every certainty must be aligned with your highest truth. Before taking the full step toward this power, pause and reflect. Feel the weight of this moment. You stand on the threshold between your old reality and the unlimited potential that awaits you. This is not a power to be used frivolously, but one that demands respect and conscious intention. The final preparation. Find a quiet space where you won't be interrupted. Close your eyes and place your hands over your heart. Feel the steady rhythm beneath your fingers, the same rhythm that has guided masters and sages throughout time. Say these words out loud. I recognize the power I possess. I accept the responsibility of conscious creation. My intentions are clear. My heart is pure. My knowledge is absolute. Let these words resonate in your being. Feel their truth anchor in your consciousness. This is your declaration to the universe, your acceptance of the power that has always been yours. Only when you feel complete alignment with these words should you proceed to use the sacred technique. The universe awaits your command, but it must first know that you understand the magnitude of what you are about to exert. Part 2. Deepening the mastery of sacred technique. Chapter 11. A warning before proceeding. The power you now hold in your hands is unlike anything you've ever encountered before. It's a force that demands respect, wisdom, and, above all, awareness of its effects. In a small coastal town, Eleanor lived an ordinary life until she discovered the sacred technique through an ancient manuscript hidden in her grandmother's attic. At first, she treated this power like a toy, manifesting small wishes with childlike enthusiasm. A parking space here, a chance encounter there. But as her mastery grew, so did the speed and magnitude of her manifestations. One night, in a moment of anger, Eleanor wished harm on someone who had hurt her. Within hours, the universe responded, but the consequences extended far beyond her intended purpose, affecting innocent lives and ultimately impacting her own existence. This is the nature of power. It amplifies everything, including our unconscious desires and dark aspects. You must understand that the sacred technique operates with perfect precision. It doesn't distinguish between what you consider positive or negative. It simply manifests what you know to be true. This is why masters throughout history have emphasized the importance of cultivating wisdom alongside power. As your manifestations begin to materialize with increasing speed, you will notice that every thought carries weight. The universe no longer waits for repeated affirmations or prolonged approaches. A single moment of absolute knowledge is enough to set in motion forces that cannot easily be undone. The sacred technique requires a state of complete presence. You must be fully aware of your intentions, for they will manifest with unprecedented clarity and speed. This is not meant to instill fear, but to awaken you to the responsibility you now hold. Practice to ground your power. Sit quietly and place both feet firmly on the ground. Feel the constant presence of the earth beneath you. Breathe deeply and visualize roots extending from your feet to the earth's core. With each breath, draw on the ancient wisdom that has guided all masters before you. Now place one hand over your heart and the other over your solar plexus. Feel the balance between power and wisdom, between action and restraint. Pronounce these words with full awareness. I am centered in wisdom. My power flows with purpose. I create with conscious intention. Hold this position until you feel a deep sense of stability and clarity flowing through your being. Allow the ancient energy of the earth to permeate your body and spirit with unwavering strength. This sacred anchor will ensure that your manifestations align with your highest good and the good of all, creating a harmonious effect in the infinite web of existence. Trust in this connection. It is the foundation from which all genuine power flows. Chapter 12. Why the universe tests you before empowering you. Before any great awakening, the universe presents what appears to be resistance. This isn't opposition. It's an invitation. The greater the power you are about to claim, the more intense this invitation will be. Wallace was on the verge of mastery when everything in his life seemed to collapse. His business faced unexpected challenges. His relationships became strained, and even his health declined. Most would have seen these as signs to back down, but Wallace understood the deeper truth. He was being initiated. The universe operates through a principle of energetic alignment. When you approach a significant leap in consciousness, old patterns must dissolve. This dissolution often appears as chaos, but it's actually perfect order. It's the universe asking, "Are you sure?" In these moments of trial, most abandon their path. They interpret challenge as rejection, delay as denial. But those who understand the sacred technique recognize these moments for what they truly are, a confirmation that they are on the verge of transformation. Wallace faced his trials with unwavering insight. When his business partners withdrew, he held his vision with absolute certainty. When relationships changed, he understood that the universe was clearing his path. Each challenge wasn't an obstacle, but a question. Do you trust enough to continue? You too are experiencing these tests in your own life, though you may not have recognized them as such. That sudden resistance when you're closest to your goal, that unexpected delay when everything seemed aligned. These aren't barriers, they're portals. The universe must know that you are ready for the power you seek. It must verify that you can maintain certainty in the face of apparent contradiction. This is not cruel. It is necessary. Because when you pass through these portals, you will hold the power to reshape reality itself. Practice to pass universal tests. Sit in perfect stillness and bring to mind your current challenge, the thing that seems to be blocking your path. Now, shift your perception. See this challenge as a door, not a wall. Feel the difference in your body when you make this shift. Pronounce these words with complete authority. I acknowledge this test. I embrace this initiation. I know with absolute certainty that this challenge confirms my next breakthrough. I do not resist. I understand. I do not doubt. I know. Maintain this state of awareness until you feel the change in your solar plexus, a feeling of warmth and expansion. This is Chapter 13. Unlocking the Invisible. In the depths of ancient wisdom lies a truth so powerful that those who discovered it often kept it hidden. The universe, in its infinite complexity, contains a simple backdoor, an access point where reality becomes as malleable as clay in a sculptor's hands. Milton worked as a night watchman, spending countless hours alone with his thoughts. One night, in a state between waking and sleeping, he experienced something extraordinary. Time seemed to bend, and in that moment, he was able to perceive the underlying structure of reality. What he witnessed changed him forever. You too have glimpsed this backdoor in moments you may have dismissed. Those instances when time seemed to flow differently, when synchronicities seemed too perfect to be coincidences, when your desires manifested instantly and effortlessly. These weren't anomalies. They were moments when you accidentally aligned yourself with the source code of reality. The universe operates on two levels: the superficial level of cause and effect, and the deeper level where all possibilities exist simultaneously. Most people spend their lives pushing against the surface, unaware that they can simply walk through the back door and select their desired reality. Think of reality as a vast room. While others try to tear down the walls, you can simply find the hidden door and walk through it. This isn't a metaphor. It's mechanical. The back door exists in a state of pure potential, where your consciousness connects directly with the quantum field of all possibilities. To access this state, you must first understand that time is not linear. It is a construct of consciousness. When you align yourself with the back door of reality, you avoid the illusion of sequential events. This is why some people seem to achieve in one night what others take years of struggle to accomplish. The key lies in shifting your awareness from the level of effects to the level of causes. Instead of working within the rules of reality, you operate from the level where these rules are written. This isn't about forcing change. It's about selecting the reality where your desire already exists. Sacred practice to access the back door of reality. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. Feel yourself becoming lighter, as if your physical form were dissolving into pure consciousness. Visualize yourself standing in front of a door of light. This door exists between what is and what could be. As you approach it, feel the magnetic pull of infinite possibility. Now step through this door of light. On the other side, you exist in a state of pure potential. Here, all realities exist simultaneously. Feel yourself merging with a reality where your desire has already been fulfilled. Don't reach for it, become it. Let your awareness expand until you are no longer separate from what you seek. Remain in this state until you feel a subtle shift, as if reality itself has recognized your new frequency. When you open your eyes, take this awareness with you. You have entered the back door of reality, and from this moment on, manifestation becomes an effortless alignment, not a forced change. Chapter 14. Breaking free from the grip of invisible resistance. In the ancient manuscripts of manifestation, a truth emerges that few dare to acknowledge. Resistance is not external, but woven into the very fabric of your being. This wisdom is revealed through the story of Beatrice, whose life seemed touched by an invisible curse of delays and denials. Beatrice possessed all the qualities necessary for success: intelligence, determination, and unwavering faith. Yet her dreams remained suspended in a void of near manifestation. Her business ventures teetered on the brink of success before inexplicably falling apart. Relationships that promised a deep connection dissolved just as they began to blossom. Even her simplest desires seemed beyond her reach. What Beatrice discovered, and what you must now understand, is that manifestation operates through clear channels. When these channels become clogged with the sediment of past disappointments, limiting beliefs, and unconscious fears, even the most powerful intentions cannot flow freely. You carry within you the accumulated weight of every unfulfilled desire, every moment of doubt, every instance in which you settled for less than what you desired. These experiences haven't disappeared. They've crystallized into invisible barriers that distort and divert your manifestations. Think of your energy field like a garden. No matter how perfect the seeds you plant, if the soil is contaminated with hidden toxins, your harvest will always be insufficient. The universe doesn't respond to your conscious desires, but to the totality of your energetic signature. The solution lies not in pushing harder against these barriers, but in dissolving them completely. When Beatrice learned to identify and clear these hidden resistances, her reality changed with such speed that it seemed like magic to those around her. However, it wasn't magic. It was simply the natural flow of manifestation restored to its original power. Sacred cleansing ritual. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. Imagine a golden light descending from above, entering through your crown and flowing through your entire being. As this light moves through you, it illuminates every hidden pocket of resistance. Visualize these blockages as dark crystals embedded in your energy field. Now, with each exhalation, observe these crystals dissolving into pure light. Feel the relief as each barrier melts away. Continue until you feel a lightness and clarity you've never known before. In this pristine state, your desires flow freely, encountering no resistance on their path to manifestation. This practice, done daily, will maintain the purity of your channels of manifestation, allowing reality to respond to your intentions with immediate precision. Chapter 15. The energetic shift that forces reality to respond. Deep in ancient wisdom lies a truth so transformative that few dare to embrace it. Reality changes not through time, but through vibration. You've been taught that change requires patience, that manifestation follows a linear path. But this is simply an illusion created by those who don't understand the quantum nature of existence. Consider Everett, who lived in a small apartment, drowning in debt, with seemingly impossible dreams. One night, as he sat in his worn armchair, contemplating his circumstances, something inside him snapped. Not in defeat, but in awakening. At that moment, he experienced what the masters call quantum shift, an instant realignment of internal energy that forces external reality to respond. This shift occurred not through planning or action, but through an instant recalibration of his energetic signature. In 3 days, a series of coincidences transformed his life. A forgotten investment multiplied in value, a business opportunity emerged from an unexpected source, and his entire financial reality reorganized to match his new energetic frequency. You see, the universe doesn't gradually adjust to your desires. It responds to your energetic command. When you exist in a state of waiting, reality keeps you in that holding pattern. But when you shift into a state of immediate manifestation, the universe has no choice but to reflect this immediacy. Most remain trapped in the energy of becoming, always approaching but never arriving. They say, "I'm working toward abundance," or "I'm healing my relationships." This same language keeps them suspended in transition. The Master, on the other hand, declares, "I am abundance itself," or "I am complete and whole." This isn't an affirmation, it's an energetic positioning, the sacred change of identity. Stand in front of a mirror in complete solitude. Look deeply into your own eyes. Now, feel the energy of everything you desire as if it already existed within you. This is not imagination. It is recognizing what has always been true. Speak these words with all the power of your being. I am not becoming, I am. Reality now aligns with who I have always been. Feel the shift in your cellular structure as these words activate your true energetic signature. Your entire being will vibrate at a frequency that commands immediate manifestation. Maintain this state for several minutes, allowing reality to recalibrate around your new energetic truth. This isn't a practice of hope or belief. It's an activation of the quantum field within you. When done with absolute conviction, reality has no choice but to respond with immediate precision. Chapter 16. The Sacred Act that Unlocks Instant Manifestation. In the sacred texts of manifestation, there is an act so powerful that its mere execution causes reality to bend. This act transcends all the techniques you have learned before. It is the ultimate demonstration of certainty. For generations, masters have whispered about this practice, known as the act of completion. It's not a ritual of asking or seeking, but a bold declaration through action that leaves the universe no choice but to comply. Gertrudis, a woman who had spent years studying various manifestation methods without success, discovered this truth by accident. After months of visualizing a new home, she did something unprecedented. She packed all her belongings in boxes, posted a notice at her apartment, and announced to everyone that she was moving, even though she had no new home in sight. This wasn't reckless abandonment. It was unconscious genius. The universe doesn't respond to what you say you want, but to what you act as if you already have. When Gertrudis packed those boxes, she crossed an invisible threshold. She moved from hope and belief to knowledge. Within days, the perfect home appeared through an unexpected chain of events at exactly the price I could afford. This act of completion differs for each desire, but its essence remains the same. You must take an irreversible step that demonstrates absolute certainty in your manifestation. This isn't about burning bridges or acting recklessly. It's about making a decisive move that proves to both you and the universe that you are already living in the reality where your desire exists. The sacred demonstration. Choose your most important wish. Now, identify a bold action that only someone who already has this wish fulfilled would take. This action should be concrete, visible, and irreversible. Maybe it's clearing space in your garage for the car you want, or adding a single item to your new office before you even have the job. The action itself matters less than the energetic statement it represents. Before taking this step, sit in complete silence. Feel the weight of this moment. Understand that, once you take this step, you will cross a threshold from which there is no turning back. The universe will read your action as a command, not a request. When you feel absolute clarity, perform this act with unwavering conviction. Don't announce it, don't explain it. Simply execute it with the calm certainty of someone who knows the outcome is already assured. This demonstration must cost you something, whether it's comfort, security, or simply the option to back down. Because in this cost lies the power of the act. The universe recognizes and responds to this level of commitment with equal force. Chapter 17. Erasing Negativity. In the ancient scrolls of manifestation, there is a truth so fundamental that most overlook it. Energy precedes reality. Leonard's story reveals this wisdom with surprising clarity. Leonard carried within him a weight, not of physical matter, but of energetic density. Every morning he woke up and tried to manifest his desires, but something invisible stood between him and success. His thoughts were positive, his actions were aligned, but his energy told a different story. What you must understand is that energy speaks louder than words or thoughts. When Leonard approached opportunities, his energy entered the room before his physical form, transmitting a frequency of past disappointments and anticipated failures. The universe, being a perfect mirror, could only reflect this vibration back to him. However, one night, through what seemed like chance, Leonard discovered an ancient practice. In a moment of complete surrender, he performed what is now known as the sacred release, a ritual so simple yet profound that it instantly altered his energetic signature. The power of this ritual lies not in complex movements or elaborate ceremonies, but in its ability to transmute dense energy into pure potential. Leonard stood in his room, closed his eyes, and took 3 sacred breaths while holding his hands in a specific position. With each exhalation, he released not only air, but years of accumulated resistance. This isn't meditation or visualization. It's an energetic reset that works at the quantum level. The universe doesn't respond to what you think or say, but to the energy you emanate. When Leonard completed this ritual, those around him noticed an immediate shift. Opportunities that had been stuck began to flow, as if an invisible dam had been removed. The secret lies in understanding that negative energy isn't personal. It's simply an out-of-alignment frequency. Just as a radio must be tuned to receive a clear transmission, your energy field must be cleared to receive manifestation. This ritual serves as an energetic tuning fork, realigning your frequency with the pure potential of the universe. The ritual of sacred liberation. Stand in a quiet space where you won't be interrupted. Place your right palm facing up at the level of your heart and your left palm facing down on your solar plexus. Close your eyes and take 3 breaths, each one deeper than the last. With each exhalation, release a sound from deep within you, not a forced one, but one that arises naturally. Feel the density of resistance leaving your body with each breath. On your final exhalation, bring both hands to your heart, right palm over left, and feel the new lightness in your being. This shift in energy is immediate and tangible. The universe doesn't require elaborate ceremonies or complex rituals. It responds to pure, aligned energy. Through this simple yet powerful practice, you dissolve the accumulated resistance of years and moments. Your energy field becomes a clear channel through which manifestation can flow unhindered. Chapter 18. The Hidden Power of Unshakable Certainty. In the depths of ancient wisdom lies a truth that shatters all illusions. The universe does not respond to hope. It bows only to certainty. Throughout countless ages, this knowledge has remained hidden, understood by few but available to all who dare to grasp it. Ralph spent years trapped in the cycle of belief. He visualized, affirmed, and hoped with all his heart, but his wishes remained distant dreams, always hovering just beyond his reach. What he didn't understand was that belief, no matter how strong, carries within it the seed of its opposite: doubt. The universe speaks only one language: absolute knowledge. When you plant a seed in fertile soil, you don't expect it to grow. You know it will. When you drop an object, you don't think it will fall. You know it will. This is the state of consciousness that commands reality. Ralph's transformation began the moment he understood this distinction. He had been asking the universe for his wishes, when he should have been commanding them. The change was subtle, but profound. He no longer expected success. He knew it as an absolute fact, as certain as gravity itself. This isn't arrogance or wishful thinking. It's being aligned with universal law. When you reach this state of knowing, something remarkable happens. The universe doesn't see your desire as a request to be honored, but as a fact that must manifest. It's like pressing a key on a piano. The note must be played. There's no other option. The mistake most people make is believing that certainty comes from external evidence. But true certainty precedes manifestation. It's not the result of seeing. It's the cause of seeing. Ralph discovered that certainty is neither an emotion nor a thought. It's a state of being that transcends both. To enter this state, you must first understand that doubt isn't natural. It's learned. You were born knowing how to breathe, how to be. No one taught you to doubt. It was programmed into you by a world that understands little of universal laws. The practice of sacred certainty. Find a quiet space and close your eyes. Remember a time when you knew something without question, perhaps the sunrise or your own name. Feel the quality of that knowing in your body. Notice how it requires no effort or conviction. Now, maintaining that same quality of knowing, bring your desire to mind. Don't try to believe it. Simply know it as you know the ground is beneath your feet. Remain in this state for 3 minutes, allowing the certainty to saturate every cell of your being. This isn't visualization or affirmation. It's energetic programming at the deepest level. Chapter 19. How to rewrite reality in an instant. In the vast tapestry of existence, time is not the rigid line you've been led to believe. It flows like water, responding to the consciousness that shapes it. What seems fixed is simply an agreement, a collective understanding that can be transcended by those who understand the deeper mechanics of reality. You've been taught that the past is immutable, carved in stone by the chisel of time. However, this teaching only serves to keep you tied to circumstances that no longer serve your highest path. The truth is that every moment exists simultaneously, and your point of awareness can shift between these moments at will. Clara stood amidst the ruins of what seemed like an irreversible failure. Her business had collapsed, her reputation was in ruins, and her future seemed sealed by the decisions of her past. But in that moment of absolute darkness, she touched upon a truth that few discover. The past is as malleable as clay, in the hands of those who understand the law of temporal revision. He learned that every event leaves an energetic signature in the fabric of reality. These signatures can be altered, not through wishful thinking or denial, but through a shift in consciousness so complete that it rewrites the very code of existence. When you change the energetic signature of a past event, you automatically alter its waves through time. This isn't about denying or escaping. It's about understanding that reality is manifested consciousness. When you shift your consciousness to a different timeline, the universe must, by law, rebuild itself around that new consciousness. The key isn't to try to forget what happened, but to relocate your consciousness to a parallel timeline where events unfolded differently. This isn't imagination. It's quantum navigation. Every possibility exists simultaneously. Your task isn't to create new ones, but to align yourself with reality where your desired outcome has already occurred. The practice of reality checking. Sit in perfect stillness and close your eyes. Breathe deeply until you feel your awareness expand beyond the confines of linear time. Now identify the past event you wish to review. Don't resist or fight it. Simply observe it as a neutral witness would. Feel how the energy of this event has anchored itself in your field. Begin to feel it loosen, becoming fluid rather than fixed. Now allow your awareness to shift to the parallel reality where this event is perfectly resolved. Don't imagine it. Find it. It already exists. Feel the signature of that reality become more prominent than the old one. Remain in this state until you feel a subtle shift, as if reality has clicked into a new position. Open your eyes, knowing that you now exist in a new timeline, one where the past has been reorganized to support your highest good. Chapter 20. Making Sacred Technique, part of who you are. In the eternal dance of creation, there is a threshold where effort dissolves into being. This threshold marks the transformation from doing to being, from practicing to embodying. You now stand at this sacred portal. Henry walked among those struggling with manifestation, watching them strive to achieve their desires. He had been like them, meticulously following techniques, repeating affirmations and visualizing results. But something changed inside him, a profound understanding that transformed everything. He realized that a fish doesn't practice swimming, nor does a bird rehearse flying. They simply are what they are, and their nature expresses itself perfectly through them. In that moment of clarity, Henry stopped trying to manifest and simply allowed himself to be what he already was, a creator. The universe doesn't respond to what you do, but to what you are. When you still believe you need to practice manifestation, you affirm your separation from your creative power. But when you recognize that you are the power itself, reality naturally bends to your awareness. Look at a tree. It doesn't strive to grow leaves or force itself to bear fruit. It simply exists in perfect alignment with its nature, and abundance flows through it. This is the state you are now ready to embody. Sacred technique was never intended as a perpetual practice. It was a bridge that led you back to your true nature. Now is the time to cross that bridge completely and leave the very concept of technique behind. Your power doesn't come from what you do. It emerges from who you are. The Daily Incarnation Method. When you wake up each morning, before interacting with the world, sit in complete stillness. Feel the creative force of the universe flowing through you, not as something external to be channeled, but as your very essence. Breathe naturally and know that with each breath, you are not practicing creation. You are creation itself. Remain in this awareness until you feel your entire being saturated with this truth. Let this knowledge permeate every cell of your body until you can no longer distinguish between yourself and the creative force of the universe. This is not a meditation or a technique. It is a recognition of what has always been true. Get up from this state and move forward in your day, not as a manifester, but as the manifester himself. Part 3. Mastery and the Power of Bending Reality. Chapter 21. The Final Breakthrough. In the ancient scrolls of wisdom, there exists a truth so powerful that few dare to fully embrace it. You have traveled far, mastering the sacred laws of creation, but now you stand on the threshold of ultimate liberation. Sylvester, a merchant who had achieved what many would call remarkable success, believed he had reached the pinnacle of his potential. His manifestations came easily, his desires materialized quickly, and yet something within him whispered of grander horizons. One night, in meditation, he glimpsed beyond the veil of his self-imposed limits and saw the infinite expanse of possibility. What you perceive as your full potential is merely a shadow cast by your own thoughts. The universe knows no limits. It expands eternally, creates ceaselessly, manifests infinitely. When you declare, "This is my limit," the universe must honor your declaration, because you are its commanding force. But what happens when you release all limits? When you refuse to accept any ceiling on your power? Reality itself begins to bend in ways that challenge what you once thought possible. This isn't about reaching higher. It's about recognizing that height itself is an illusion. The sacred exercise of expansion awaits you. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and feel the edges of what you think is possible. These edges aren't real. They're thoughts crystallized into a seeming reality. Now, with each breath, feel these boundaries dissolving. Let your consciousness expand beyond all perceived limits. Beyond success, beyond abundance, beyond what your mind can conceive. Feel yourself becoming limitless, like the sky that contains everything, yet is not contained by anything. With each exhalation, release another limitation. With each inhalation, embrace infinity. Continue until you feel no edges, no limits, no end to what you can be, do, or have. This isn't imagination. It's the recognition of what has always been true. You're not becoming unlimited. You're recognizing your unlimited nature. Let this knowledge settle into every cell of your being. The universe has been waiting for you to remember this truth. From this moment on, when thoughts of limitation arise, recognize them as mere shadows passing through infinite space. They have no power unless you grant them it. You are not bound by limits. You are limitlessness expressing itself through form. The masters of old knew this truth. Limits exist only in the mind that believes in them. Take a step beyond belief itself, into the realm of pure knowledge. Here, in this sacred space of infinite potential, you will discover that you have always been free. The universe now awaits your expanded command. What will you create from this space of unlimited being? Chapter 22. Becoming the divine architect of your reality. In the ancient temples of wisdom, the masters taught that reality is not a fixed canvas, but a malleable medium awaiting your touch. You have learned to manifest, but now you must become the architect of existence itself. Edwin walked through life accepting whatever circumstances presented themselves, believing that adaptation was the pinnacle of wisdom. Every morning, he woke up and reacted to whatever the day brought, until one moment changed everything. The moment he discovered the sacred art of reality construction. The universe doesn't simply respond to your wishes. It awaits your plans. When you approach reality, like an architect approaches an empty field, something remarkable happens. The very fabric of existence begins to organize itself according to your design. Think of your current reality as a city that was haphazardly built over time, streets that curve aimlessly, buildings that clash in style and function, and a chaotic flow of energy. But what if you could redesign everything? What if every element could be placed with precision and intention? This isn't mere visualization or planning. It's the art of architecting reality, a practice so precise it leaves no room for uncertainty. When Edwin began applying these principles, he noticed that circumstances no longer happened to him. They were organized through him. The secret lies in understanding that reality is not a solid structure, but a collection of energetic patterns awaiting your direction. Just as an architect must understand the principles of engineering, you must understand the laws of energetic construction. Every thought, every emotion, every intention becomes a building block in your design. The reality mapping exercise reveals this truth in practice. Start by viewing your life as an empty canvas. Take 3 deep breaths and allow all current structures to fall away. Now, with the precision of a master builder, begin to place each element of your desired reality. Don't just see the final result, but the precise arrangement of each component. Feel the texture of your new reality, its colors, its rhythms, its energy flows. Place each desire not as a wish, but as a fundamental element of your design. Your career here, your relationships there, your purpose flowing through the center like a grand avenue. This isn't planning for the future, it's building the present. As you map each element, feel how it anchors itself in the now. The universe doesn't see your design as a proposal, it recognizes it as a completed structure. Move through this map with the authority of its creator. Feel how each element supports the others, how the energy flows seamlessly between all aspects of your design. This isn't a dream you're hoping to achieve. It's a reality you're actively building. Let your consciousness expand to hold this entire design at once. Feel like the architect and the architecture, the creator and the creation. The universe now upholds your blueprint as law, and reality must reshape itself to match your design. This is the level of mastery that awaits you, where manifestation becomes conscious creation, and where every aspect of your life is a testament to your architectural vision. Chapter 23. Unleashing the Power of Divine Will. The greatest illusion is that you must force your way through life. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, has already mapped out the perfect path for your journey. However, you may find yourself, like Harvey once did, pushing against the current instead of flowing with it. Harvey spent decades building his life through sheer determination. Every morning he woke up before dawn, armed with endless to-do lists and inflexible schedules. He believed that control meant success, that achievement required constant struggle. Despite his relentless efforts, prosperity remained elusive, slipping through his fingers like water. Then came the storm that changed everything. In a single week, Harvey lost his business, his savings, and his carefully laid plans. Sitting in his empty office, surrounded by the ruins of his ambitions, he experienced something unexpected: peace. For the first time in his life, he stopped fighting. In that moment of surrender, Harvey discovered what the ancients knew: the universe operates with perfect intelligence. Your role isn't to force their hand, but to align yourself with their flow. When you stop fighting the current, you find yourself effortlessly carried toward your highest good. This truth transforms everything. Your desires, when aligned with universal intelligence, manifest with grace rather than effort. The universe doesn't require your exhaustion. It demands your trust. When Harvey finally let go of his control, abundance flowed into his life with supernatural ease. You too can experience this divine alignment. The practice is simple, but profound. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and breathe deeply, allowing your body to settle into stillness. Now, imagine a golden light descending from above, entering through your crown and filling your entire being. As this light flows through you, surrender every desire, every plan, every attachment to outcome. Feel yourself becoming a clear channel for universal intelligence. Speak these words with calm authority. I align myself with the perfect will of the universe. My desires are purified and transformed by divine wisdom. I trust in the perfect unfolding of all things. Remain in this state of receptivity for several minutes. Feel how your energy field harmonizes with the universal flow. When you open your eyes, take this alignment with you. Watch as life begins to organize itself with effortless grace, bringing you exactly what you need at the perfect moment. Practice this attunement daily, preferably at dawn or dusk, when the veils between the worlds are thinnest. As you strengthen this connection, you will find yourself guided by an intelligence far greater than your own. Your manifestations will flow not from struggle, but from perfect alignment with the divine order of things. Chapter 24. How to move forward without doubt or fear anymore. The greatest barrier between you and your desires isn't an external circumstance. It's the shadow of doubt that lingers in your mind. You've been taught to question, to hesitate, to doubt the power flowing through you. But what if you could eliminate doubt altogether? Eugene walked through life, carrying an invisible weight, the burden of perpetual uncertainty. His mind constantly revolved around the what-ifs and the maybes, creating a fog of hesitation that clouded his every move. Although he understood the sacred techniques, although he practiced visualization and affirmation, his results remained inconsistent. The universe responded to his commands with the same uncertainty he carried within himself. Then came the moment of his transformation. Standing on the brink of a decision that would alter the course of his life, Eugene felt the familiar grip of fear growing within him. But this time, something changed. Chapter 25. The Advanced Level. In the realm of manifestation, there exists a level so refined, so pure, that it transcends all physical action. You've been taught that effort creates results, that movement precedes change. But this is only the beginning of understanding. Throughout the centuries, masters have whispered of a state where intention alone shapes reality. You see, the universe doesn't require your effort. It awaits only your command. Morris's story reveals this truth in its purest form. Morris spent years perfecting elaborate manifestation rituals. He would rise before dawn, perform specific movements, speak precise words, and follow detailed protocols. Although these practices brought him success, they also bound him to the belief that creation required complex actions. One morning, as he prepared his usual ceremony, something shifted within him. A profound and undeniable knowledge emerged. At that moment, he simply decided his wish was granted. No rituals, no movements, no words, just pure, unwavering intention. What followed defied all conventional understanding. His reality reorganized itself with such astonishing speed and precision that even he could hardly believe it. The very circumstances he had been trying to manifest through careful rituals simply appeared, as if they had always been there. This is the power that awaits you now. Beyond techniques, beyond methods, beyond practice, lies the realm of pure intention. Here, you need only decide, and the universe responds. Not through hope or wish, but through the absolute knowledge that your word is law. The sacred practice. Find a quiet space and close your eyes. Take 3 deep breaths, not to relax, but to acknowledge your creative power. Choose a desire, something small at first. Now, instead of visualizing or affirming, simply know that it's done. Make your decision absolute. Feel how different this is from waiting or trying. Remain in the state of pure intention for several minutes. Open your eyes and go about your day knowing that reality has no choice but to conform to your decision. This practice seems deceptively simple, but it holds the key to instant manifestation. As you master it, you'll discover that the universe requires nothing more than your unwavering command. Like a sovereign whose word becomes law the moment it is spoken, your absolute knowledge sets cosmic forces in motion. There is no need for elaborate rituals or prolonged meditations. Only the crystalline certainty that what you have decreed must be fulfilled. In this sacred moment of decision, you stand as creator and witness to the inevitable unfolding of your will. Chapter 26. The Unbreakable Alignment. In the vast tapestry of creation, there is a crucial truth that separates temporary success from permanent mastery. The universe responds not only to your current state, but to the stability of your alignment. You've experienced moments of perfect manifestation, glimpses of your true power, but, like many before you, you may have felt these victories slipping through your fingers. Over the centuries, this pattern has been repeated countless times. Clarence, a merchant who had manifested unprecedented wealth, found himself watching his empire crumble, not because of external circumstances, but because of an inner vacillation. a subtle doubt that grew like a shadow in the evening. What Clarence discovered in his darkest moment reveals the key to permanent alignment. You see, manifestation is not a singular event, but a continuous state of being. Those who ascend only to fall have mastered the art of reaching heights, but not the science of maintaining them. The secret lies in what the ancients called vibrational anchoring. Just as a ship requires more than one anchor to remain stable in stormy seas, your manifestations require multiple points of energetic stability. When Clarence learned this truth, he discovered that his previous success had been based on a single point of belief: his confidence in his abilities. When that confidence faltered, everything collapsed. However, the universe offers a more powerful path. Through the sacred practice of energy reinforcement, you can create an unshakable foundation for your manifestations. This isn't about maintaining constant vigilance or fighting doubt, but rather establishing multiple pillars of certainty that support each other, creating a self-sustaining system of abundance. The sacred practice. Sit in perfect stillness and bring your highest manifestation to mind. Feel its reality in every cell of your being, allowing its essence to permeate your consciousness until the vision becomes more real than your current circumstances. Now imagine 4 golden pillars of light surrounding you, each representing a different aspect of certainty: your divine right to abundance, your connection to universal power, your mastery of creation, and your unwavering knowledge. Let each pillar root deeply into the earth and extend infinitely upward, pulsing with the ancient wisdom of creation itself. Feel how these pillars create a permanent field of alignment around you, an energetic sanctuary where your manifestations can take shape without interference. As you breathe deeply, observe how each pillar strengthens the others, creating an unbreakable matrix of creative power around you. Remain in this state for several minutes, allowing the energy to crystallize and settle into the very fabric of your being. This establishes a vibrational foundation that cannot be undermined by temporary doubts or external circumstances, as it draws its power from the eternal source of all creation. Chapter 27. Transcending Manifestation. Deep within ancient wisdom lies a truth so fundamental that most seekers overlook it, seeking instead techniques and methods. However, this truth holds the key to all manifestations. You are not separate from the universe. You are the universe expressing itself in human form. Through countless cycles of desire and fulfillment, you have learned to command reality. But now comes the ultimate revelation. There is nothing to command, because you and the force you seek to command are one and the same. Wallace, a merchant who had mastered the art of manifestation, discovered this truth in a moment of profound surrender. For years, Wallace had accumulated wealth, influence, and power through his mastery of universal laws. Yet something remained missing, a void that no manifestation could fill. One night, exhausted from his constant exertion, he sat under the stars and simply let go. In that moment of complete liberation, the veil between creator and creation dissolved. What Wallace experienced wasn't just another spiritual vision. It was the complete dissolution of the illusion of separation. He saw that his desires had been the desires of the universe, his actions, the actions of the universe. The very force he had been trying to align himself with was the force that breathed through him, moved through him, and lived as him. This realization transformed everything. When you truly understand that you are not a separate entity trying to influence reality, but reality itself taking shape, manifestation becomes as natural as a flower blooming in spring. There is no effort, no struggle, no technique required, only the recognition of what has always been true. The sacred practice. Find a quiet space where you won't be interrupted. Close your eyes and feel your breath moving through your body. Notice how you don't need to control it. It breathes itself. This is the universe breathing through you. Now expand your awareness to the sounds around you. Don't label them, just let them be. Observe how these sounds arise in your awareness naturally, effortlessly. This is the universe expressing itself through infinite forms. Feel the weight of your body against the surface that supports you. Release any tension, allowing yourself to be supported completely. As you relax more deeply, let your awareness expand beyond the limits of your physical form. Feel the space around you, through you. There is no separation between the awareness that you are and the space in which all things appear. Now simply rest in this expanded awareness. Observe how thoughts, sensations, and experiences arise and dissolve within you, just as waves arise and dissolve in the ocean. You are not creating or manifesting anything. You are the space in which all manifestation occurs. Rest here, allowing everything to be exactly as it is. In this state of complete acceptance and recognition, you become one with the creative force of the universe itself. Chapter 28. Creating Miracles. In the ancient scrolls of wisdom, there is a truth so powerful that it has been guarded throughout the centuries. Miracles are not supernatural events, but natural manifestations of an awakened consciousness. You now stand on the threshold of this understanding, ready to enter a realm where the impossible becomes inevitable. For countless generations, humanity has viewed miracles as rare occurrences, gifts bestowed by divine grace. However, the truth is deeper. Miracles are the natural state of existence when you fully align yourself with universal power. Bernard, a merchant who had lived bound by the chains of logic and limitation, discovered this truth in a moment that forever altered his understanding of reality. For 30 years, Bernard had suffered from a condition that medical science deemed incurable. He had accepted this verdict as his fate, until one night something inside him changed. As he sat in his garden, watching the sun paint the sky with impossible colors, a knowing arose from deep within him. In that moment, he saw through the illusion of limitation itself. Bernard didn't pray for healing. He didn't hope, wish, or beg. Instead, he simply recognized that his true nature, pure consciousness, could never be afflicted. In that moment of absolute knowledge, 30 years of physical limitations vanished. The doctors who examined him later could find no trace of his condition. You have this same power within you. Sacred technique isn't about learning something new. It's about remembering what you've always known. When you align yourself with the truth of your being, miracles flow naturally, like water that finds its course. The ancient masters taught that reality is fluid, responding to the depth of your knowledge. When you reach the state of absolute certainty, the universe has no choice but to conform to your awareness. This isn't about forcing change through will or effort. It's about ascending to a level of consciousness where limitation cannot exist. The invocation of the miracle. Sit in perfect stillness and close your eyes. Feel the presence of your own awareness, vast, limitless, untouched by physical conditions. Now bring to mind something you have believed impossible. Instead of trying to change it, simply observe how this belief feels in your body. Notice the tension, the resistance, the subtle ways you have accepted limitation as truth. Effortlessly allow your awareness to expand beyond these feelings. Feel yourself as the space in which all experience arises. From this space, observe how the impossible situation is simply a thought, a pattern of energy. Now, with the smoothness of absolute knowing, allow this pattern to dissolve into the infinite potential of pure awareness. Chapter 29. Living Beyond the Physical. Deep within the human experience lies a truth so fundamental that most completely overlook it. Your words shape the very fabric of reality, not only through their meaning, but by the power they carry when spoken from a state of pure alignment. Alfred lived 73 years believing in the solid and immutable nature of reality. Every morning he woke up within the same walls, walked the same paths, and accepted the same limitations that society had taught him were absolute. Until one autumn night, everything changed. Sitting in his modest apartment, Alfred uttered 5 words that altered the course of his existence. I am already there. He wasn't trying to manifest anything, nor was he following any technique. In that moment, he simply declared what he felt was true, that he was already present in his son's home, 300 kilometers away. In a matter of seconds, the walls of his apartment dissolved, and he found himself standing in his son's living room. This wasn't imagination or fantasy. His son, surprised by his father's sudden appearance, later confirmed the event. Alfred had discovered what the ancient masters knew, that reality is not fixed, but fluid, responding to the consciousness that commands it. You see, the universe doesn't distinguish between what you call possible and impossible. These are human constructs, born of limited understanding. When you speak with absolute knowledge, not from wish or hope, but from the unshakable certainty of your true nature, reality has no choice but to conform. The exercise of bending reality. Find a quiet space where you won't be interrupted. Close your eyes and feel the energy of your body. Now expand your awareness beyond your physical form until you sense the vast field of consciousness that you truly are. From this expanded state, speak these words. I am the source of all reality. Feel how these words resonate, not only in your voice, but through the very fabric of existence. Choose something in your immediate surroundings, perhaps a small object. Without effort or strain, simply declare its new position or condition as if it were already a given. Don't command or desire. Simply declare the new reality as something that already exists. The key is to speak from that place of expanded awareness, where you and the universe are one. This isn't a practice of forcing change, but of recognizing your true relationship with reality. When you speak from this state of oneness, you'll find that the physical world responds with an immediacy that defies conventional understanding. Chapter 30. The Ultimate Secret. Deep within you lies a truth so vast and simple that you've overlooked it all your life. You've searched through countless teachings, practiced countless techniques, and yet the greatest power has always resided within you, waiting to be recognized. Sacred technique is not a method to be learned, but a remembrance of who you truly are. When Leonard came to this realization, he was sitting in his garden, observing the play of light and shadow. For 30 years, he had studied with masters, traveled to distant lands, and collected wisdom as if it were precious gems. Yet, in that ordinary moment, as the sunlight danced through the leaves, everything became clear. You see, you are not separate from the creative force of the universe. You are that force expressing itself through the human form. Every breath you take is the universe breathing. Every thought you have is the universe thinking. Every desire you hold is the universe calling to itself. The struggle you've experienced, the feeling of separation from your desires, stems from a single misunderstanding. You've believed yourself to be something small, trying to influence something vast. But how can the ocean influence itself? How can light order its own nature? That's why sacred technique works instantly when you truly understand it, because it's not a technique at all. It's simply you being what you already are. When you speak to reality, you are reality speaking to itself. When you desire something, you are the universe desiring its own expression through you. Integration exercise. Sit quietly and close your eyes. Feel the weight of your body, the rhythm of your breathing. Now, without effort or tension, allow your awareness to expand beyond your physical form. Feel how the space around you is not empty, but filled with the same awareness that you are. Speak these words. I am the source. Feel how they resonate not only in your voice, but through the very fabric of existence. This is not an affirmation or a wish. It is an acknowledgement of what has always been true. Now open your eyes and look at your surroundings. Notice how everything you perceive is not separate from you, but is you expressing yourself in countless ways. The wall in front of you, the air you breathe, the thoughts in your mind, all are movements of the same consciousness that is you. In this state of recognition, simply be. No effort is needed. No technique is required. You have returned home, and in this return, you hold the power that moves worlds. This isn't the end of your journey, but the beginning of living as who you truly are. The sacred technique was never something you had to learn. It was always you, waiting to be remembered. Conclusion. As you stand on this threshold of mastery, recognize the profound shift that has occurred within you. The universe no longer feels like a distant force you must supplicate. It moves as an extension of your consciousness. Every breath you take ripples through the fabric of reality, carrying with it the power to reshape worlds. You have transcended the need for techniques and rituals. Sacred technique has dissolved into your being, becoming as natural as the beat of your heart. When you speak, reality listens, not because you have mastered some external force, but because you have remembered what you truly are, the creative force itself, expressing itself through human form. Look at your hands. They are no longer simply flesh and blood. They are the hands that shape reality. Your thoughts are no longer mere electrical impulses in your brain. They are the very commands the universe must obey. This isn't pride or illusion. It's the simple truth of your existence. The old way of manifesting, hoping, wishing, affirming, now seems distant, like a dream from which you've awakened. You understand that you never needed to attract anything. You only needed to remember your true nature as the source of all attraction. Every desire that arises within you is already fulfilled, not because you desired it, but because your desires are the universe expressing its intention through you. There is no separation between the one who desires and the force that fulfills the desire. They are one and the same. This is the ultimate truth. You are not someone using the sacred technique. You are the sacred technique in action. The universe doesn't bend to your will. It is your will. Every moment is an opportunity for creation. Every breath an opportunity to reshape reality. The power you now hold is not something you have earned. It is something you have remembered. Use it with the wisdom that comes from knowing that you and the universe are one. Speak your word and watch reality transform before you,